So, you're the producer for the new Bob Lucido release. Tell us how it all started.
Well, probably a year or so ago, when Will Wilson got in touch with me and said he'd got a new artist signed, and suggested I got in touch and see if we could come up with some ideas. But it wasn't quite as straightforward as that, because obviously Bob was in New York and I was here in the UK. But it was quite a long drawn out procedure. But as usual, when I collaborate with artists, the usual procedure would be for them to come to the studio afterwards. We've got the music sorted out and they would record the vocals with me. But of course in this instance we had to do everything remotely. So there was a bit of shuttling backwards and forwards with vocals that didn't work or music that didn't work. But we got to a stage where we got into a groove, for use of a better word, and we would have an arrangement where once I'd got the music set up for Bob's ideas, he would then do a draft vocal and send it to me. Then if there was any more moving around with the music and the actual backing track, then I would do that, and we would keep perfecting that until we were ready to take the final vocal take, and Bob would do that in his own studio in New York. So it was great fun, but a good challenge as well.
So you wrote the music for the tracks?
Yes, I did, and although they were just basic tracks to start with, Bob found it much easier to write to a genre of music that was in his comfort zone. So I didn't do anything too rash with the backing tracks to start with. And then after we'd got the main vocals done, some of the tracks were produced into different genres, and one or two remain in the original genre, and I think they're going to be released separately. So we've got quite a catalogue of tracks together.
Now, Bob is in New York and you are in the UK. Were there any difficulties in working remotely?
Well, the difficulty, I suppose, was really the time constraints. It wasn't a quick fix idea, because there was a lot of perfecting the backing tracks just to get the layout right for Bob's ideas. Not often did I have to change the key of the song, but on occasions I did, which of course if you've got an artist in the studio, you know straight away what they can do and what they can't do. And but it was a good challenge, and hopefully the results will speak for themselves.
As producer, did you have to ask for many retakes?
A few. That was partly down to me, of course. When the artist is in your own studio, then things are much more streamlined, because you can even stop a take halfway through and say, well, let's do this a slightly different way, let's get the timing of this done just so. Not that I'm demanding, you understand, but these things have to be just right. So yeah, it was slightly difficult, but I was really happy with the end result.
And how long did it take for you to complete the project, given the extra difficulties you just explained?
Well, probably it's been about a year since we started working on the first tracks. And although Bob wrote them fairly quickly once we got the backing tracks sorted out, there was a fair few genres that I tried for all of the songs. Some worked, some didn't. And I suppose you just have to take that on the chin. You can't get everything right first time. So over the year, there's been a number of versions of the same songs until we get it just so, and the label are really happy with it.
And did you work with those songs to produce a number of versions?
Yes, there's going to be a few, I think, released after the event. A few extra tracks that we did that aren't on this particular release. And also some of the original genres in the light rock, I suppose you could call it, or pop rock genre. There's even one to come in a slightly bluesy feel. But on the actual release itself, 5 of the 6 tracks were done just as I explained. The only one that was slightly different was Manhattan, which I wrote probably a couple of years ago after meeting someone from Manhattan, and I did a bit of research on the island and got some statistics and put together, whether you call it wacky or weird vocal, I don't know. And of course it sat there because you really needed someone local of Manhattan or New York to do the vocal to make it sound authentic. And of course when Bob came along, he was the answer to my prayers. But so that was a slightly different one of the 6. But the other 5 are in that procedure where I've just explained, where things shuttle backwards and forwards all the time.
Okay, and where do you think Bob's strengths lie?
Well, I think as soon as you hear the first track or the first few lines of the track, you can hear his voice. Mum can't buy a voice like that, and it's got so much character to it. It reminds me slightly of Johnny Cash and a few other veteran singers, where there's so much character in the voice. Almost a one-off, to be honest, and it gives such a flavour and character to the track itself. It transforms it just from a backing track into something really strong. And of course his storytelling is so strong as well, and the tracks are based around a lot of experiences he's had, which he then elaborates into lyrics.
There are 6 tracks on the EP, and do you have any favourites?
Favourites would be difficult, wouldn't it, because that would imply the others aren't as strong. I think they've all got their own strengths. The storytelling in Bob's are always strong. I've tried to introduce some interesting instruments and arrangements into the production work to make them stand out from just the norm, and hopefully we'll find out if the general public thinks that's interesting and strong as well. But I enjoyed the production side of this particularly, because obviously I needed to keep Bob happy as the artist, but I needed to keep the label happy, so that we got something in the end that was going to be releasable. Is that the word? I don't know.
And do you have any plans to meet up with Bob? And if so, where would you do it?
Well, we laughed right at the start when we got the first song done. He was so pleased with the result, and so was I, of course. He said, "I must buy you a beer sometime." And then sometimes when he would send a great vocal, I said, "Well, I better buy you a beer sometime." So I suppose if eventually we meet up, it would either be a bar in the UK or a bar in New York. And I think the time we've bought each other all these beers, we'll put the world to rights by then.
Like that. And finally, can you tell us the official release date?
Well, it's later this month. This is November 2016. The pre-release is out now on the label's special website, but as far as the main release, I think it's the 26th of November 2016, and then it will be available on Amazon and iTunes and all the other download sites. So there it is. Hope you enjoy it.
Thank you. Cut!
Cut!